barriers.
Bog spatting, that's it.
Good.
Okay. Meeting is called to order. This is a public hearing of the Bonner County Zoning Commission. The time is 5:30. The date is January 16th, 2025. The location is the first floor conference room of the Bonner County Administration Building on Highway 2, Sandpoint, Idaho, Earth 3 rock from the sun. The meeting is being recorded and streamed live via Zoom and YouTube. This episode is brought to you by Paper. If you'd like to see here, please click the like button. If you don't want to miss future episodes, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Please silence your phones. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call for the commissioner, starting from my left, please.
Commissioner Clark, present.
Commissioner Marbles present.
Commissioner Paulson present.
Commissioner Blazer, present.
We have 4 of 5 commissioners. We have a quorum. Wait, do we have 5 commissioners?
We do.
We do. Okay, we have 4 or 5. We have quorum.
He's not here. I didn't hear from him.
Okay. Nope. Commissioners and staff members, are there any changes to the agenda for this hearing?
No.
No change in agenda. We'll proceed. The minutes from our last meeting held November 21st, 2024 are made available for the commission to review. Does any commissioner or staff member care to correct those minutes?
No.
Minutes are approved under the consent agenda. Forego that and that. We have 1 file to review tonight. Really? Just go right into it. Okay. The file is ZC 0002-24, zone change from rural 10 to rural 5. The applicant is requesting a zone change from rural 10 to rural 5. The 20-acre property is zoned rural 10. The project is located off Hunter Road in section 17, township 54 north, range 5 west, Boise Meridian. Does any commissioner have conflicts of interest or ex parte communication to disclose at this time?
No.
Boom. Alex, your turn.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Alex Fan, planning staff. This evening, we're hearing file ZC 0002-24, a request for a zone change from rural 10 to rural 5. These are the standards at which this application was reviewed against. The applicants are requesting a zone change from rural 10 to rural 5 on 1 parcel, approximately 20 acres in size. Project is located off Hunter Road in section 17, township 54 north, range 5 west, Boise Meridian. The parcel has a comprehensive plan designation of ag forest land. And this request was evaluated against the standards for rural 10 and rural 5. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the parcel outlined in blue with the access road, Hunter Road. Blanchard Cutoff Road is the closest Bonner County owned and maintained road. Hunter Road is accessed off of Highway 41. This is an unplatted parcel. It's approximately 20 acres. It's currently zoned rural 10 and has a land use designation of ag forest. Parcel is accessed from Hunter Road, a privately owned and maintained road, via Highway 41, a state of Idaho owned and maintained public right of way. The site does contain slopes of 0 to 30%. Does not contain any mapped wetlands or any frontage to a mapped water body or stream, and is located within special flood hazard area zone X. The property is served by an individual well, individual septic system, Spirit Lake Fire District, Inland Power, and West Bonner School District number 83. The graphic on the screen shows our LiDAR slope layer on the GIS application. You can tell that the northern portion of the property has slopes between 15 and 30%. Anything in the yellow is 15 to 29.9, and red is 30%. There are 2 types of soils on this property: Kootenai gravelly ashy silt loam and Melder loam. Kootenai gravelly ashy silt loam is considered prime farmland if irrigated, while Melder loam is considered not prime farmland. The brown portion on the graphic shows the Medland loam, and the purple is the Kootenai gravelly ashy silt loam. A full list of the agencies that were routed for this application can be found in Annex A of the staff report. We did not receive any or any comments from the agencies that were routed. We did receive 4 no comment replies from ITD, Spirit Lake Fire District, DEQ, and the Department of Fish and Game. And we received no public comments on this file. We'll get into the Rural 10 characteristics. Rural 10 is designated in areas designated as rural residential in the comprehensive plan that meet one or more of the following criteria. Characterized by slopes that are steeper than 30%, located within critical wildlife habitat as identified by federal, state, or local agencies, contain prime agricultural soils, served by a network of public and or private roadways that generally do not meet the applicable roadway standards set forth in Title II of this code or Appendix A of this title, or are absent, located within the floodway, and contain limited access to public services. The Rural 5 designation is areas designated as rural residential in the comprehensive plan that are already developed at or near the one dwelling unit per 5 acre density and or do not meet the criteria for Rural 10. And this is just a quick synopsis of the 2 zoning designations. So we'll get to Rural 10, whether the property is characterized by slopes steeper than 30%. Parcel does not appear to be characterized by slopes steeper than 30%. The parcel is mostly areas on the southern portion of the parcel and some areas in the northern portion, but generally consists of areas with slopes that range between 0 and 30%. According to the land use portion of the comprehensive plan, for density ranges, properties that are level to moderately sloped are appropriately sized to be 5 to 10 acres, and this property does not appear to be characterized by steep slopes. It is not located within a critical wildlife habitat as determined by any agency. Whether or not it contains prime agricultural soils. The parcel contains 2 types of soils, Kootenai gravelly, ashy silt loam, and Melder loam. According to the natural resources component of the Bonner County Comprehensive Plan, Melder loam is considered not prime farmland. Agricultural pursuits are still viable with non-prime farmland soils. However, the types of crops may be limited. Melder loam makes up approximately 0.75 acres of the 20-acre property, or approximately 3.75%. Kootenai gravelly ashy silt loam is considered prime farmland if irrigated. With the absence of an irrigation district in Bonner County, it appears that farming and agricultural pursuits could be extremely limited. Whether the parcel is served by a network of public and private roads. Access to the parcel is by way of a combination of state of Idaho owned and maintained road, as well as a privately owned and maintained road. Idaho Transportation Department stated there were no objections to the zone change. There is minimal risk of flooding due to it not being within a mapped floodplain or floodway. Whether or not the parcel contains limited access to public services. The parcel has access to public services. Public services that are available for this property include fire protection, emergency services, and power. Other amenities are a private well and individual septic. We'll get to the characteristics for Rural 5, comprehensive plan designation of rural residential. Currently, this property has a land use designation of ag forest land, which is not compatible with either of the rural zoning districts. Currently, the Bonner County Planning Commission is proposing changes to the comprehensive plan map that would make this parcel be designated as rural residential, which would be compatible with the Rural 5 zoning. This map has only been proposed and has not been recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, nor has it been approved and implemented by the Board of County Commissioners. The graphic shows on the left-hand side is the current comprehensive plan map, and on the right-hand side is the proposed comprehensive plan map. Whether the property is developed at or near the one dwelling unit per 5 acres. It appears most surrounding properties in the immediate area are developed at 10+ acres. There's one parcel within 1,200 feet of this project that is developed with one dwelling unit per 5 acres or are below 10 acres. Whether or not it meets the criteria for rural 10. Property does not appear to be characterized by steep slopes of 30% or greater. It does not have any identified critical wildlife habitat. It is not within a mapped floodway. It does have access to public services. It is served by a network of private and public roads, and it does contain soil classified as prime farmland. However, there could be limitations that make farming or agriculture difficult. And that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions if you have any for me.
Did you bring up the first map? Was it a zoning map?
This map here,
It was blue and blue.
this
That
one.
Yeah. Is this zoning?
Yes.
And what's dark blue?
Dark blue is the rural 10 and the light blue is rural 5.
Okay. And then back to that satellite view. And then, yeah. So this and the slopes map show a lot of flat terrain around. We're right there on 41 down about Blanchard. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the context. Commissioners, any questions for Alex?
Yeah, can you tell me anything about the adjacent property to the east of that was? Has a different comp plan designation and a different zone. It's an R5 and it's in rural residential
Sure.
by itself.
Off the top of my head, I don't know the context behind it, but I can certainly look at the GIS map. And it should give me when.
That was a comp plan map and zone change in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it was 2021.
Yeah.
It says it on it when you go look, but like I said, I was trying to find the file for it.
Sure.
So if anybody has a memory of it, just wondering how that went through relative to what we're looking at today.
I believe that was Mr. Hunter, as in Hunter's Road.
Yeah,
So I remember he came in and it looks like he divided off one piece of the, I think,
Right.
20 acres he owns.
Yeah.
So it was, he went through a comp plan map amendment and then a zone change with the board. I think, yeah, back in 2021, 2022.
back when we had a planning and zoning combined.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this zoning commission made the decision on that file or not. So, but yes, it was somewhat recent.
Okay.
And then to the south on Hunter Road, there's also been an approved subdivision into 5-acre lots. And then maybe there's been 2 in the last couple of years. So it's a pretty active area for land use.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it appears that this was done in effective as of January 2022.
Okay. Do you have anybody online tonight?
No.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no public people, forego public testimony. And seeing no applicant, will forego the opportunity for the applicant to present. Hearing no rebuttal, we will forego the opportunity to rebut. This is just weird. Okay, commissioners will now discuss the file. Well, the chair closed the hearing to public testimony and the commissioners will now deliberate the file. Commissioners deliberate. So other than the comprehensive plan map, to me, this looks very much like 5 acres. I thought that Alex did a great job showing us the usual things, slopes, private roads, access to various public utilities, services.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The only sort of anomaly is that in the comp plan, and even more anomalous, it's the draft comp plan map that the public not discussing makes this all rural residential, which in that draft plan is only R5. There's no R10 in it. Correct. That leads me to believe this is likely, well, already is developed at 5 acres, like Chair. And it looks like it will become even more so. That drought planning was fine.
If I was playing a board game with this county, and I needed to increase in density somewhere. The Blanchard area is a really good place to have that.
Well, really,
And so just because of the, you don't have a lot of terrain, you're so close enough to a city, that's what it seems to me, that
Sure.
this is a good place for 5 acre lots.
Yeah. Yeah.
The funny thing about the comprehensive plan, of course, is that sometimes we're reminded that the map isn't really the law. The comprehensive plan, the words themselves, are what we're supposed to abide by, which sometimes confuses me, because then I'm like, why do we bother with the map then? Nevertheless, I'm leaning toward voting in favor of this, or allow the applicant to carry on this zone change.
So the point of the zone change to R5 is to then subdivide into 5 acre lots.
Yeah, technically, we're not supposed to like worry too much about that, but yes, right now they could subdivide their 20 into 10s, but they'd like to subdivide it down to 5.
looks like the site plan shows one 5 acre lot in the 20. There's a site plan in there.
Well, that's right. They've got
That shows a 5 acre
They have
square
already.
pulled. It's like the northeast corner. So they are, yeah, that is the plan.
Okay, so this is the lot. The one with the road and number 7.
No, that's the adjacent.
No, that's the-
That's the
To the
adjacent.
left.
This
To
the
the
subject
left.
parcel is one in red.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the one you're with the road going through it is the one that's already had this happen, it seems like.
Okay.
It's already been turned R5. It's
Oh.
split on, it's two properties now.
Now the last 15 minutes are lining up for me.
Is it?
I was confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. And this is fairly recent also, as we heard. Matty Gray. Yeah, I'm with you on it. I don't see any reason apart from something, like you say, just a mapping game to not approve this. Just seems like this is a great place to have R5. Yeah, it makes sense.
Since there's no irrigation, it's sort of.
Yeah, and it's relatively flat area, that whole area, I think, that whole dark blue, if you look back at the zone map. That whole dark blue area probably is the hilly part is up to the north, seems like, and that's all ag forest up there already.
And what we're voting on tonight is to recommend approval to the county commissioners. If they, to the board of county commissioners, if they wanted to, they could punt on this and wait for the
Delay till.
Wait for the, yeah.
But that's another year plus, right?
Probably May.
May of this year?
That's
Oh,
about
okay. Well, not long, so that possibility.
And commissioners, you also have that,
We can,
that option
we can delay.
if you wanted to table it until then.
Well, any commissioner want to care to make a motion?
Commissioner Clark, I'll make a motion. I move to recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners of this project, file ZC 0002-24, requesting a zone change from rural 10 to rural 5, finding that it is in accord with the general and specific objectives of the Bonner County Comprehensive Plan and the Bonner County Revised Code as enumerated in the following conclusions of law. Conclusion 1, proposal is in accord with the elements of Bonner County Comprehensive Plan. Conclusion 2, this proposal was reviewed for compliance with Title 12, Bonner County Revised Code, and was found to be compliant. And conclusion 3, the proposal is in accord with the purpose of the Rural 5 zoning district provided at Chapter 3, Title 12, Bonner County Revised Code. And based upon the evidence submitted up to the time of the staff report, which was prepared, We didn't hear any testimony, but if there had been, we would have received it. I further move to adopt the findings of fact and conclusions of law as set forth in the staff report. And direct planning staff to draft written findings and conclusions to reflect this motion. Have chairman sign, transmit all interested party. Action does not result in a taking of private property, Mr. Chair.
You're good.
We have a motion. The Commissioner Clear to discuss or second the motion. Second. We got a motion to say. Commissioner will now vote for my left, please.
Commissioner Clark, aye.
Commissioner Marlowe, aye.
Commissioner Wilson, I.
Commissioner Blazer, aye.
Motion carries with 4 voting in favor and none voting against. Does staff have any reminders, updates, announcements, or show tunes for the commission or the public tonight?
No show tunes, but I do have a couple of announcements. Since we're not at 6 o'clock, I thought I'd take this time for a little bit of input to the zoning commission. A couple of things, big ticket items, if you want to call it that we've been working on at the planning department. Some updates and enhancements to our website. We have, if you don't know, a Facebook account with only 269 subscribers. The Road and Bridge Department has 2.5 thousand, so 2,500. I'd love to beat them, so I'm going to start announcing this on a pretty regular basis. So we would love to get more people there. We are also one of the few departments with a Nextdoor account as of Monday of this week. So we're reaching out, trying to get a lot more transparency and looking at some of these comp plan, which I'll get to in a second. Looks like they're reaching 600 people, which is fantastic. Sagal one got to 685 folks. So it's a way we're trying to do some public outreach. We also have a LinkedIn account. If you want to tag yourself as a volunteer on the zoning commission, you can tag it to the planning department. So some trying to get out there a little bit more on our presence online. So, and no, I think I'm going to avoid TikTok for now, as well as Instagram and whatnot. So it's really trying to hit where the majority of what I see as the citizens using. A couple of meetings back, we had someone say, why aren't you guys on Nextdoor? There's a lot of folks on there. So I went through the process of creating an account. So we have links on our homepage there at the bottom left to each one of those locations for our online. So if you can't find it, there's a link on the website. On the comprehensive plan that we're doing or continuing to do these open house workshops. We were in Sagal earlier this week. Mr. Clark was there and had some comments on the comprehensive plan land use map. We'll be in Kokolala next week, followed by Clark Fork, Coolin, and then we'll be back here on February 11th for the last open house workshop. These aren't really a presentation style like we have here. It's people show up. We have a lot of booths and people to talk to, maps to look at, and then there's snacks. So really you show up, you make your comment, you grab a snack and you leave. Kind of like a blood drive. You feel good about it, you grab a snack and leave. We've had a decent turnout so far, about 140, 135 people, and thus far in the last 5 meetings. I think the biggest number was Sagal so far, in which just under 40 people showed up. So, we have a hearing for the Ag Protection Area Commission. This was call it a mandate, a requirement by state statute that was adopted July, well, in the last legislative session, and it became effective July of this of 24. We have a draft component or a draft title, which would be in addition to our current title. So it'd be Title 16. That can be found if you're really curious on ag protection and whatnot. It can be found on our current projects under file AM 924. So this thing here. So this is where the suggested update is. I think our fee schedule will be on here, not 7, sorry. 9. So there's the text and then there's a fee that goes along with it. We have separate notice and separate hearings on those. We've had a couple of people interested in it, but we will be trying to put together an Ag Protection Area Commission. I haven't had any applications yet. The notice for that hits the paper tomorrow, and it'll go on for a couple of weeks.
there's actually some specific requirements in state statute that you have to meet. You have to be, so members of the APA Commission have to be actively employed by or supporting production agriculture in the county. So that's somewhat subjective, right? That you have to, it gives a little bit of guide rails. It could include, soil water conservation districts, some cattlemen's association board, farm bureau board, irrigation district, water user association boards. So it gives us some ideas, but it gives the board some latitude to interpret what actively employed by or supporting the production agriculture is. So if you guys don't know what the APA is, I can send you some links if you want to fall asleep really well tonight. It's really it's a way that somebody can dedicate their land and lock development, essentially prohibit development on their property for 20 years. You're essentially volunteering up property rights and putting like an overlay zone kind of, but it's separate than and different from land use and doesn't fall within the local land use planning act, which governs land use in our state. So I can go into much more detail when we're down to 5 minutes, so I'll spare you. But those are some of the big things we're working on right now, the comp plan and then this APA. And I think that covers, I'll show you one thing. This is where people can go and make comments on the map. So this is if someone wants to get involved with land use, even at a bare minimum, send them this direction. It's that top link on our homepage. The current land use map is here on the left. The proposed is here on the right. It's as simple as you zoom in on a property. I'm going to go at random and you select a box. You put your name and whether you're a resident, it's going to select that same box. And then you make a comment on that selection.
Cool.
We've tried to make it fairly simple and user interface. I think we've gotten, we've gotten around 80 comments from the public thus far. We'll make those all publicly available as soon as we close this public domain or website. So
the workshops were great. Yeah, I don't know how many planning commissioners were there. There was several.
Most, I think
Yeah.
5 or 6 were there
And
last night or
questions.
Tuesday. Mhm.
Great answers. Excellent opportunity.
So this website and public comments on this will be open through February 15th, middle of next month. Or like I said, our last workshop is in this room on the 11th. Then the planning commission will meet that following Tuesday, 18th or 19th around there. And then they'll start reviewing public comments and making any adjustments to this proposed map and the land use component, the text of it. So again, this is laying foundation for future ordinance and zone changes throughout the county at a legislative level, where you guys are quasi judicial looking at individual properties. That planning commission is looking at the macro of the whole county and trying to figure out trends and where should density be throughout the county, not so much on individual landowners coming in and making requests. Questions? This is like as exciting as planning gets right here. This is like really fun. Yeah. This is what we live for. So I have to continually give a shout out to our GIS department, which definitely doesn't fall under the planning department, but they work hand in hand with us on a lot of stuff. They built all the applications and stuff. So we don't have an outside contractor. We haven't paid anybody to provide any reports to the county or build any products for us. This has all been done in-house, which has been really cool. So yeah, Mike Bowling is the GIS director and he's been awesome to work with. Did I miss anything?
Cool.
Oh, Mr. Fayan here is our new assistant director as of
Oh,
a little bit ago. 2 weeks now, week and a half in. Yeah. Condolences. Congratulations, one of the two. So we are hiring for a planner 2, which had been notoriously difficult because you have to find somebody with planning experience that doesn't want to be in management. So we'll see. It's been open for maybe a week and a half. And we did have a job fair today, of which I found 0 applicants. So we'll continue to search. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I created a LinkedIn account, because you can get a free 1 posting at a time. Hopefully I never have more than 1 opening, but right now that's what we have is 1 opening. We just filled a compliance position. So like the guys that go out and do building location permit inspections. And this gentleman's name's Travis Bailey, and he's a former not building inspector, but what do you call it? Home inspector.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you call for a home inspection, he's not in his middle years. I wouldn't call him, he's later in life, but he's tired of crawling in crawl spaces and attics. How about that? So he's appreciative and excited to be in the role, and we're excited to have him. So I think that's it. And we are just shy of 6 o'clock, so I will stop.
Okay, the time is 5:59. We are adjourned.